Okay, PJ is showing us a reptile that has babies, and I have no idea how baby reptiles work. How many babies come out?
So
Is it like 1,000 or is it like
no,
one?
so she'll have between 25 and 50 eggs in her clutch.
Oh, eggs. Oh, that's right. Reptiles lay eggs.
And then
Fertility and bodybuilding. I'm actually showing you huge here with PJ BRAUN, who I'm about to out angle. And
it's very easy. I always say it out angle me these days.
oh, we're talking about fertility because, when we start using testosterone or gear, then our fertility decreases. When your natural testosterone production stops, so does your natural sperm production. Sperm production happens as a part of the process of when your body makes testosterone. So my fertility is quite low, but I have had a few children. Both of my daughters were when I was on gear.
Yep.
So obviously it doesn't get rid of fertility completely. But you think maybe your fertility is so low, you don't even have to worry about it.
So what's very interesting is most of my friends who have had children have had their children on the most aggressive cycles that they could have possibly done when their follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone and all these important fertility hormones are almost zero. Which in some ways proves that theory to be incorrect. Myself, I was, years ago, I was married, and I went through a phase where I decided that I wanted to have children.
And what age were you when you were trying to have children?
So this was 2014, 15, 16, so I'm 40, so you figure 34, 35.
Okay.
And I had been using steroids at a large level because I was competing as a national bodybuilder for years. Now, at this point, I was on HRT, and I went to see a specialist, and I was told that I had to be put on fertility medication. So I was on HCG, HMG, Clomid, everything. Now, I had to come completely off of my HRT. So for starters, I felt terrible. And it's interesting because you're trying to have children, but you have no sex drive. And I was using Cialis to, help me get the job done. And I tried for, I think it was probably about, we'll call it 16 weeks. And the first 8 weeks were absolutely horrible. I was exhausted. I was depressed. I had brain fog. I felt like I was getting softer, weaker, no desire to train.
All the symptoms of low testosterone that a lot of Americans are experiencing who are deficient in testosterone and don't even realize it.
After all that time period, I still was unable to get her pregnant. Then, of course, we went through a divorce, so I stopped. And as soon as I stopped, I got back on my HRT and felt dramatically better. Now, right after that, I went through a rebound phase with a woman who wanted to get pregnant. And I was crazy and I didn't care. And we had unprotected sex pretty much every single day. And without exaggerating, as close to every single day as possible for a year. And she did not get pregnant. So that shows me a lot about how low my sperm count is and what I would have to do if I did want to have children, and that's something that I accept now.
Did she ever, now that you've been apart for so long, did she ever end up getting pregnant later?
No.
Okay, well, it might be on her side too.
Well, she did go to a doctor. I went with her to get her follicles checked, and they said
fine.
She could have children, yes.
And you had your sperm checked. Do you remember the amount? How many millions?
Nah, it was low. I don't remember the number. I just remember them saying that there's probably no way that I'd be able to have children without thorough pregnancy protocol.
Okay. And your friend did a thorough pregnancy protocol, and it still took 2 years.
2 years. And this was a very, very well-known World's Strongest Man competitor who was a pretty lean 320 pounds and came off, still a huge guy, walked around at like 270 pounds, but same thing, felt very weak, tired, lethargic, depressed. And in 2 years, it was 2 years it took him on that medication. He finally was able to conceive a child, and he wound up having 2 kids.
He didn't just do PCT and then take a break. He was on some kind of 2-year PCT.
2-year tier non-drop, and so there's another medicine besides the HCG and the HMG. It begins with a P. And it'll probably come to me, of course, when we're off here, and I'm supposed to sound like an expert. That they added
what pathway or how did it work? Do we know?
It was just supposed to really stimulate sperm production. I'm not sure.
Okay, I want to try to figure out.
You know who will know? You know who will know? Dave Palumbo, if he watches this.
Okay, and then someone in the comments will know what he's talking
Yes.
about. So then we can go down in the comments and look what it is, or if you know, tell us what it is because I want to get on it too.
Well, I know that Dave Palumbo did this, and he was actually able to have children.
Yeah, and he's older, and
Yep.
he took gear for so many
Mhm.
years. So clearly, it depends on the person, of course, how long someone's going to have to take PCT for before they get their fertility back.
Most of the fertility doctors that I speak to believe that you can absolutely do it. It's just a matter of time.
So even everybody, no matter how shut down they are, everybody, according to some of the doctors you've talked to, so
The
they
more
get their fertility back,
modernized
it's just a
ones,
matter
the
of
old
time.
days, they would tell you, no, you're done. But most of the modern day guys feel differently about that. It's just different protocols of how they do the HCG, which is much different than the old days. It's lower doses for long, just consistent periods of time, things like that.
My strategy is I want to increase my fertility. I do want more children, but I don't want to have high fertility. I just want a little boost to get it back because I want to have more children, but I want it to be filtered. I only want it to happen if it's supposed to happen with the right girl. And, she'll be the lucky one that gets it, then, it'll be filtered. It's like God decided or something. That there was a sperm worth me.
My status now with Marissa is I tell her, if you get pregnant, then it is a miracle and it's something that we should celebrate.
Yeah.
And that's
This
it.
kind of thing.
Because it truly would be, really, based
idea.
on science.
Yeah. All right. Be swole and swole, friends of freedom, pioneers of human evolution.
That was good.